Welcome back to my channel. Is the Brown legacy officially ending with the youngest daughter of the Sister Wives dynasty? Because what we are hearing right now has the potential to shake Flagstaff to its foundation and permanently alter the future of this franchise. For years, we've watched Kody Brown lose control of his family one wife at a time, one child at a time. But what we're talking about today isn't just another emotional separation. This is something far more final. This is an erasure. Multiple insiders close to the family are whispering that Truely Brown is allegedly preparing to take the most definitive step possible to distance herself from her biological father. We're not talking about silent treatment. We're not talking about teenage rebellion. We are talking about legal paperwork. We are talking about a formal petition for a name change. According to these reports, Truely may be preparing to become Truly Woolley. Let that sink in. This is not being framed as an impulsive act. Sources describe it as a deliberate, permanent decision, one rooted in alignment with the only man who has provided her consistent stability over the last 2 years, David Woolley. And before we break down the evidence, the leaked details, and the psychological chess match unfolding behind the scenes between Kody Brown and David Woolley, take 1 second with me. This is Sister Wives Crew, your #1 source for the reality behind reality TV. We go deeper than anyone else to uncover the truth Kody Brown doesn't want you to see. If you believe Truely deserves peace after everything she's endured, hit that like button. And if you want to stay ahead of this, on the surface, they look like a beautiful celebration of love and rebirth. But when you slow them down, when you study the body language, a completely different story emerges. One TLC never explicitly narrated. Look at where Truely stands in those family portraits. She isn't hovering at the edge. She isn't awkwardly posed off to the side. She is tucked directly under David Woolley's arm. Body language experts call this a transfer of paternal authority. It's not accidental. It's not staged. It's subconscious. For years, we watched Truely physically recoil from Kody, shrinking back when he reached for her, stiffening during forced on-camera moments, visibly uncomfortable in his presence. Now compare that to her posture with David. She leans away from the camera, but she leans into him. That's not rebellion. That's safety. Sources say Kody Brown doesn't see that wedding album as a celebration at all. He reportedly views it as an act of war. We're told he believes this closeness isn't Truely's choice, but a calculated alienation campaign by Christine, an attempt to erase him from history. And while Kody is allegedly consulting attorneys and throwing around the phrase parental alienation, something very different is happening in real life. Because while Kody is lawyering up, David Woolley has been doing the work. This brings us to the concept of a soft adoption. Not all adoptions happen in a courtroom. Not all of them require a judge's signature. Some happen quietly, through presence, consistency, and emotional safety. Adoption can be showing up. And while Kody was hyper-focused on Robin's children, the so-called tenders who couldn't be away from him for more than 48 hours, David stepped into the void Kody left behind. He was there during the awkward teenage years. He was there in the quiet moments that never make it onto a TLC episode. The moments that actually shape identity. The years Kody skipped are the years David filled. So we have to ask the uncomfortable question, does biology make a father, or does showing up? The rumor mill says Truely has already answered that question in her heart. Insiders claim the atmosphere inside the Woolley household is nothing like the emotional chaos of Flagstaff. We're hearing that Truely now refers to the Woolley residence simply as home. Meanwhile, Kody's massive property has reportedly been reduced in her language to my dad's ex-house, or more tellingly, Robin's house. That linguistic shift matters. Words reveal belonging. They reveal loyalty. They reveal where a child feels emotionally anchored. Psychologists often note that daughters seek in other male figures what they never received from their fathers. And in David, Truely appears to have found something Kody never consistently offered: calm, stability, and undivided attention. Kody, by contrast, was too consumed by his ego, his image, and the demands of his favored wife to notice the child quietly slipping away. And now, let's talk about what fans have noticed in recent social media clips posted by Christine. Look closely at Truly's smile. For seasons, viewers commented on how sad she looked, how withdrawn she appeared whenever Kody entered the room. There was a heaviness there, a child carrying emotions she couldn't name. That heaviness is gone. What we're seeing now is not defiance. It's relief. And if these name change rumors prove true, it won't just mark the end of Kody Brown's authority. It may signal the final collapse of the Brown legacy itself. Because when the youngest daughter chooses peace over blood, the dynasty doesn't just fracture. It ends. There used to be tension in Truly's shoulders, a stiffness to her posture, a forced quality to her interactions, like a child constantly bracing for impact. Every smile looked practiced. Every moment felt managed. But now, look at her in the background of Christine's cooking videos. Watch her in the travel vlogs. Truly isn't performing anymore. She's glowing. This isn't loud happiness. It's quiet, relaxed, real. And insiders say this transformation has a name: the David effect. It's what happens when a child finally lives in a home where affection isn't rationed, where love isn't a competition, where siblings aren't ranked, compared, or publicly shamed, where the man of the house isn't screaming about loyalty, obedience, and respect as if love were a contract that could be revoked. But this emotional awakening has ignited something far darker behind the scenes, a legal firestorm. Because Kody Brown is not a man who fades out quietly.
His ego won't allow it.
Sources tell us Kody is shouting parental alienation to anyone who will listen. In his version of events, David Woolley has crossed an unforgivable line. In Kody's mind, he is the victim. He doesn't see neglect. He doesn't see abandonment. He only sees theft. To Kody, David isn't loving his daughter. He's stealing his property. And yes, history shows us that Kody has often treated his wives and children exactly that way. Like assets. Like extension. Insiders say the tension exploded the moment whispers of a legal name change began circulating inside the family circle. Imagine what that means to a man like Kody Brown. The name Brown is his identity. It's the title of the show. It's the banner under which he built his polygamous empire. If Truly, the youngest child, the symbolic bridge between the old family and the new life, walks away from that name, it's not just personal. It's existential. It tells the world that the Brown family is finished, that the dynasty has collapsed, and that the Woolley era has officially begun. That's why we're hearing Kody may be preparing to take this to court. She's observant. She has watched the show. She has seen the footage. She knows exactly what happened. She remembers who showed up and who didn't. This isn't Christine whispering in her ear. This is Truly watching reality play out in real time. And when you analyze the timeline, it's devastating. When Christine was packing up her life to leave Flagstaff, where was Kody? He was arguing about snowblowers, about ego wounds, about imagined betrayals, about kidney knives and respect. When David entered the picture, he didn't rush in trying to replace Kody. He didn't demand authority. He offered a hand. He offered a smile. He offered a judgment-free space. And that's why the soft adoption already happened. The paperwork, insiders say, is just a formality. So the question becomes, can Kody actually stop this? Can he legally prevent Truely from becoming a Woolley? We're going to break down the specific legal strategies Kody is rumored to be considering, including the highly controversial claim of parental alienation syndrome, a tactic often deployed in high-conflict custody wars. But before we go there, we need to understand why now. Why the urgency? Sources say this isn't about rejecting the name Brown out of spite. It's about dissociation. Truely is entering young adulthood. She wants to define herself outside the shadow of a reality TV implosion. She wants to walk into a classroom or a job. David Woolley, by contrast, appears to value privacy. He stepped into the spotlight for Christine, but he didn't chase it. He doesn't dominate scenes. He doesn't demand loyalty. He's content being the quiet structure holding everything together. That contrast is everything. Kody needs to be the sun at the center of the universe. David is content being gravity, and Truly sees it. Now, let's talk about the before 18 rush, because this part matters. Why are we hearing that Truly wants this done before she turns 18? On the surface, it seems unnecessary. Once she's an adult, she could change her name without anyone's permission. But insiders say doing it now is intentional. It's symbolic. Filing as a minor forces a confrontation. It puts Kody in a courtroom. It makes him look his daughter in the eye and explain, under oath, why he deserves to have his name attached to her when he hasn't been attached to her life. It's not avoidance. It's a challenge. A step-parent adoption or a name change petition triggers a legal standard, the best interests of the child, and that opens the door to evidence. 10 years of footage, documented neglect, emotional abandonment, captured in high definition. What judge, looking at that record, would say it's in Truly's best interest to remain tethered to Kody Brown? And David's role here cannot be overstated. Sources insist he isn't pushing this. He isn't demanding she take his name. He has reportedly told Christine one simple thing: I will support whatever Truly wants. That's it.
No ultimatums.
No conditions. Compare that to Kody's approach. Love the family, and then I'll love you. Kody's love is transactional. David's is unconditional. And we are now hearing that Kody Brown believes this entire narrative, the name change, the adoption talk, the David is my real dad sentiment, is not organic at all. In his mind, this is a coordinated attack designed to destroy his reputation and end the show. And here's the part that exposes the truth. Kody isn't just afraid of losing his daughter. He's terrified of cancellation. Insiders say he knows exactly what it would look like if the audience fully turns on him, if viewers see him not just as an absentee father, but as the man who dragged his own daughter into court to protect his ego. That would be the end of Sister Wives. The end of the checks. The end of the platform. So what is he really fighting for? His paycheck, disguised as paternal concern. But we have to go deeper into what sources inside the family circle are actually saying, because the details are devastating to the Brown family narrative. One insider describes Truly as being on a countdown. This is not impulsive. This is not teenage rebellion. It's a quiet, deliberate mission. She doesn't want symbolic adoption. She wants it legal. She wants to enter adulthood with the Woolley name already sealed, already protected, already hers. According to the source, Truly has expressed a powerful desire to fully dissociate from the reality TV chaos she was born into. And when you stop and think about it, that makes perfect sense. For her entire life, the name Brown has meant instability. Moving trucks, crying mothers, screaming matches. A father who is always angry, always distracted, always performing for the cameras instead of parenting his children. To Truly, Brown is not a legacy of love. It's a brand of dysfunction. And that's where identity comes into play. Insiders say Truly looks at David Woolley and sees what a father is supposed to be: steady, present, quietly strong. David doesn't need a camera crew to prove his authority. He doesn't posture. He doesn't dominate. He just shows up. And for a child who spent her formative years watching her biological father perform fatherhood instead of living it, that contrast is life-changing. The most telling detail we're hearing is this. Truely has allegedly told Christine that she feels safe with the name Woolley. That word matters. Safe doesn't mean she felt physically endangered before, but it does suggest she felt emotionally unstable, emotionally exposed, emotionally unprotected under the Brown name. Woolley represents calm, predictability,
Peace.
so, again, we ask the question, why the rush? Why are insiders saying this needs to happen before she turns 18? Why not wait, walk into a courthouse as an adult, and quietly change her name? Because waiting lets Kody escape accountability. If Truly waits until adulthood, Kody can shrug and say, she's grown. She can do what she wants.
No consequences. No reckoning.
No judgment of his failures. But filing now, while she's still a minor, forces a confrontation. At its core, this is about validation. Sources say Truly doesn't just want a new name. She wants acknowledgement. She wants a judge to say what the cameras never did out loud. Yes, your father failed you. And yes, this man stepped in. That kind of closure can never come from an adult name change alone. But make no mistake, Kody Brown is not going to accept this quietly. And that brings us to the darkest turn in this unfolding story. Kody's counteroffensive. We are now entering what insiders are calling Phase 4, the antagonist fully revealed. Kody isn't heartbroken. He's litigious. He's reactive. And he's desperate to control the narrative before it collapses on him. Reports suggest Kody has already begun consulting attorneys about a very specific legal weapon, parental alienation syndrome. For those unfamiliar, parental alienation is a controversial argument often deployed in high-conflict custody cases. It alleges that one parent, in this case, Christine, has systematically manipulated or brainwashed the child into rejecting the other parent without legitimate cause. And according to our sources, this is the card Kody Brown is preparing to play next. According to insider reports, Kody Brown is now actively constructing a narrative where Truly's desire to become a Woolley isn't her own thought at all, but a script allegedly written for her by Christine. In his version of reality, Truly hasn't come to this conclusion independently. She's been coached, programmed, turned against him. Kody is reportedly shouting that he is the true victim here, that Christine has poisoned his daughter's mind, that she has launched a smear campaign from inside the family itself. And the most disturbing part? Sources say he genuinely believes this. You have to understand how Kody's mind works. He likely sits in Robin's house, replaying the past over and over, rewriting history until he's the hero of his own tragedy. He tells himself he tried, that he reached out, that he wanted to be there, but Christine blocked him. In his internal story, he isn't an absent father. He's a misunderstood one. And David Woolley? Kody doesn't see him as a man who stepped up for his daughter. He sees him as an interloper, a thief, someone stealing what belongs to him, not love, ownership. Because to Kody Brown, his children are extensions of himself. They are reflections of his authority. And if Truly rejects him, she isn't just rejecting a relationship. She's rejecting his dominance. To a narcissist, that is the ultimate betrayal. But the conspiracy inside Kody's head goes even deeper. Sources say he views this entire adoption and name change narrative through one lens only: the show. His image. His survival. He allegedly believes this is a coordinated attack designed to destroy his reputation ahead of future Sister Wives seasons. He thinks Christine is orchestrating this to boost her wedding storyline, spike ratings, and cement him as the franchise villain. Once again, we arrive at the same truth. Kody isn't fighting for his daughter. He's fighting for his paycheck, disguised as fatherhood. Because if Truly changes her name, the sister wife, and this is where Kody's threat to claim parental alienation becomes a catastrophic mistake. Because the moment he opens that door, Christine's attorneys are allowed to walk through it with evidence. Not of brainwashing, of neglect, text messages, call logs, visitation records, missed birthdays, empty chairs, unreturned calls. Seasons of footage documenting a father who is physically present on television but emotionally absent in real life. Sources say Kody is enraged that David Woolley is getting what he calls the hero edit. He sees the comments. He reads fans calling David stepdad of the year. He watches people praise a man who didn't demand loyalty, he earned it. And instead of asking why the audience feels that way, Kody does what he has always done. He blames the edit. He blames Christine. He blames the children. He blames everyone, except the man in the mirror. Psychologically, this legal threat is Kody's last grasp at control. He can't control where Christine lives. He can't control who she married. He can't control the narrative anymore. But he can control paperwork. And so he threatens court. Not because he wants reconciliation, but because he wants leverage. He wants to scare them. He wants Christine to back down and say it's not worth the money, the stress, the exhaustion. He is betting that they are tired. He is betting that they won't want to fight. Because Kody Brown is willing to burn the house down just to keep his name on the mailbox. But insiders say he miscalculated. Christine and David are not intimidated. In fact, they are prepared. Sources report that David Woolley is willing to bankroll the fight if necessary. He has the resources, but more importantly, he has something Kody never showed: a protective instinct. If Kody files a parental alienation claim, he triggers discovery. And discovery is dangerous. It means his text messages with Truly can be read aloud in court. It means his visitation history can be examined line by line. It means a judge can ask a very simple question. How many days have you actually spent with your daughter in the last 3 years? How many calls did he make? How many birthdays did he attend? How many times did he show up when no cameras were rolling? Parental alienation defenses collapse when abandonment is documented. And the tragic irony is this: Kody Brown has provided 10 seasons of evidence against himself. The greatest tragedy of all is that Kody is treating this like a transaction. He believes that if he wins in court, he wins his daughter back. That if a judge blocks the name change, Truly will suddenly respect him again. But he fundamentally misunderstands something that no court can fix. You cannot litigate love. You cannot subpoena respect. And that is the truth Kody Brown refuses to accept. Even if he somehow wins the legal battle, if he forces Truly to remain Truly Brown on paper until the day she turns 18, he has already lost the war. Because in doing so, he proves the very thing his daughter fears most, that he values his rights more than her voice. Every dollar Kody spends on attorneys to block this adoption is another brick in the wall between him and his child. Every filing, every motion, every threat sends Truly the same message: my control matters more than your peace. And according to insiders, this fire isn't burning in isolation. Robin Brown is reportedly pouring gasoline on it. Sources say Robin is terrified of the precedent this sets. Because if Truly can erase the Brown name, if she can be adopted by a new father, what does that say about the legitimacy of the entire Brown family structure Robin has spent years defending? Her carefully curated image of a perfect polygamous family, or more accurately, a monogamous household disguised as polygamy, cannot survive this. Truly leaving shatters the illusion. Insiders suggest Robin is constantly in Kody's ear, urging him to fight, telling him it's about principle, about parental rights, about Christine stealing the children. What's really happening inside that house, sources say, is an echo chamber of delusion, where every fear is validated and every mistake is rewritten as martyrdom. Meanwhile, across town, the Woolley household couldn't be more different. There is no screaming. There are no strategy meetings. There is no obsession with optics or court appearances. There is just dinner. There is homework. There is ordinary life. David Woolley is not trying to win Truly. He isn't coaching her. He isn't scripting her feelings. He's simply Truly is moving toward warmth and away from cold. That isn't manipulation. That's survival. Now, let's talk about what happens when a soft adoption turns into a hard legal war. If Kody files to block the name change, the case will almost certainly be sealed due to Truly being a minor. We may never see the paperwork. But make no mistake, we will see the fallout. We will see it in the tension on screen. We will see it in the fractures that no editing can hide. TLC cameras are undoubtedly rolling. And here's the great irony. Kody is terrified this storyline will destroy his brand, yet he is the one creating the conflict that drives it. If he stepped back, even once, and said, "I want my daughter to be happy," even if that means she changes her name, he would look like a hero. He would redeem himself in the eyes of the audience. But he can't, because Kody Brown is incapable of putting Truly first. This legal threat isn't sudden. It's the climax of a decade of bad parenting. It's the moment where Kody must choose between his ego and his child, and everything we're hearing suggests he has already chosen his ego. He's preparing for war. He's gathering evidence. He's rehearsing his martyr narrative. But the audience sees through it. And more importantly, Truly sees through it. To understand why this is happening now, we have to stop pretending it started in a lawyer's office. Truly didn't wake up one morning and decide to erase her father. This decision was years in the making, built on specific, traumatic failures. And to understand it, we have to go back. It was a masterclass in destroying a child's confidence. Now compare that to what we see with David. Photos of him walking quietly beside her, holding her hand, helping in the kitchen.
No yelling.
No audience.
No ego.
Just patience. Sources say David treats Truly with a gentle steadiness she never experienced in the chaos of the Brown household. He doesn't need her to ride the bike perfectly. He just doesn't want her to fall. And if she does fall, he picks her up. He doesn't lecture her. That difference is everything. Kody wanted a performance. David wanted a relationship. Kody wanted a storyline. Show up. Leave Robin's house. Choose me on my terms. Not for filming. Not for holidays with conditions. Not with an entourage. Show up for a Tuesday night dinner. For a school event. As just a dad. If he does that, insiders say she might keep the name Brown. She might hold on to that last piece of her history. But if he lawyers up, if he screams alienation, if he refuses to change, then the trigger will be pulled. And Truly Woolley will be born. So, what's the verdict? We've watched Kody Brown for over a decade. We know his patterns. And tragically, we know how this ends. Kody doesn't respond to ultimatums. He sees boundaries as disrespect. Independent thought as betrayal. When his wives gave ultimatums, he let them leave. When his sons did, he stopped calling. Our prediction is brutal, but clear. He will not step up. He will double down. He will listen to Robin. He will convince himself he's the martyr. He will sue. He will spend money on lawyers instead of therapy. He will try to force Truely to be a Brown legally, while losing the right to be her father emotionally. The judge may, or may not grant the name change. But the truth is this: Truely has already left the Brown family in her heart. The paperwork is just the receipt. This is the tragedy of Sister Wives. A show that began as an experiment in multiplying love is ending as a story about dividing assets and severing bonds. Truely Brown was the baby who once brought everyone together. Now she is the young woman strong enough to walk away. She found her safe harbor. And it wasn't in the man who gave her DNA, it was in the man who gave her time. This is a battle between biology and biography. Kody gave her biology. David is helping her write her biography. So, I want to hear from you. Does Kody have any right to stop this name change after a decade of neglect? Does a father own his child's name? Or does he have to earn it every single day? If you believe Truely deserves the right to choose her family, hit that like button right now. Let's see if we can reach 5,000 likes for Truely's freedom. If you think Kody deserves another chance, subscribe and tell me why in the comments. We're monitoring the court dockets in Flagstaff. The moment paperwork is filed, you'll hear it here first. This is Sister Wives Crew. We don't just watch the show. We expose the truth. And the final act of the Brown family collapse has only just begun.